Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired.
In a fiery Senate showdown, Senator John Kennedy takes Kash Patel to task over explosive revelations involving Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up, and the Epstein investigation. From secret DOJ payouts to media manipulation, Kennedy demands names, facts, and accountability. Watch this jaw-dropping exchange till the end. What began as a routine oversight session turned into a ruthless interrogation that left no stone unturned. Kash Patel, the current FBI director, sat across from Kennedy, and what followed was a political reckoning. From rogue FBI agents to secret settlements, from election interference to the mysterious case of Jeffrey Epstein, Kennedy didn't just ask questions, he demanded answers. Let's dive in.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI, Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please. The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon-to-be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. A person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
In a time where doublespeak and evasions are the norm, Senator John Kennedy once again proved why he's one of the most fearless voices in Washington. He didn't come to play politics. He came for answers. With razor-sharp questions and unapologetic clarity, Kennedy exposed the rot at the core of federal institutions, from corrupt FBI officials to political interference in elections, and secretive DOJ payouts that insult the intelligence of every American taxpayer. While others tiptoe around controversy, Kennedy charges straight through it, armed with facts, backed by principle, and powered by a deep respect for the law and the American people. In a system desperate for accountability, Kennedy is doing what too few are willing to do: demand the truth and name names. And for that, he's not just a senator, he's a watchdog for the people. One hearing, multiple scandals, but one constant voice cutting through the fog: Senator John Kennedy. Whether it's corrupt agents, hidden payouts, or unanswered deaths, he's asking the questions that some corrupt leaders once buried. If you believe in truth without filters and leaders who don't back down, this channel is for you. Subscribe now and hit the bell so you don't miss the next showdown, because in Washington, silence isn't golden, it's dangerous.